Hello, welcome to the first year BHM course of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. I'm Dr. Indrajit Bose and I should be your course coordinator for this session. The subject is called Business Communication or BHM N102. Now, you must be thinking what this subject is all about. You have basically joined, I think, this hospital management course with the objective of joining the hospitals and healthcare industry in the future. Is that correct? Yes. So the subjects in your curriculum you will find will be training and equipping you for performing certain managerial functions and administrative roles in the hospital and healthcare industry where you will take up your job in the future. As far as this subject, business communication, is concerned, we shall be looking at various functional aspects of written and spoken communication in English, especially in the workplace. And by the workplace here, we mean the hospital and the healthcare sector. So, this lecture is part of a series on business communication, being lecture 3 in the series, and it is based on an understanding of the role of social media usage in hospitals. Now, what is social media and how can it be used in hospitals? This is the topic of our discussion today. Now, I think you are all aware that we are living in a digital age, and this is really the age when social media is all the rage. There is widespread and pervasive use of social media in almost every aspect of our lives. So this is where we shall begin. This is our starting point, looking at the widespread use of social media in our lives today, and we shall see what is the role of social media in healthcare and how it is used as a natural marketing tool by healthcare professionals, and what can be the use of different media channels by professionals, the advantages, some demerits, and the road to the future. So this is our topic, or these are our topics for discussion today. Now, I think you are all users of smartphones, right? And you have access to Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Twitter right on your phone accounts, right? And I think all of you have accounts over there which you keep checking, sometimes even to the detriment of your studies. Now, we think that these are mostly places where we can connect with our friends or relatives or other people outside and have conversations or informal chats with them. But can we really use this social media as a tool or instrument for publicity in a large hospital? So, this is a question that we have to pose over here. Yes, definitely, it is possible. You see, when you are taking up the position of management in a large hospital, then you are necessarily involved, as I think I've already mentioned, in various aspects of the functioning of the hospital. You will be looking after the administration, the day to day working over there, the outpatient departments, the patient registrations, the doctors and their consultations, then the emergency services, other healthcare facilities, the treatment of the patients, those who are admitted over there, the in-house patients, the various operations and surgeries that keep going on, the stocks of medicines, the other administrative and support staff who are involved in cleaning assistants, and various other functions. You are going to look at the round the clock functioning of all this in the hospital on a day to day basis. Now, obviously, one of the functions in a large hospital is to market the hospital. Now, this may sound a little odd to you, but of course, there is this question of advertising and publicity. If you do not advertise the facilities which are available or the healthcare facilities and opportunities which you are providing in the hospital, then it is not likely that you are going to increase your customer base or the footfall of patients will increase in your hospital. So you have to do a lot of marketing. There are, after all, several players in the hospital sector, the healthcare sector. So there are large multi-speciality hospitals nowadays. Even in the city of Kolkata, you will find there are so many. There is Ruby General Hospital, there is DSUN, there is Fortis, there are so many. There is ILS, there are so many hospitals, and they are all providing similar or facilities of a similar nature. So, how come your hospital has an edge over the others? So, you have to prove that with your consumers and you have to build a strong relationship or base with them. Now, one of the ways in which you can reach out to the patients who are your consumers, after all, is through the social media channels. So, this is what we can tap. This is a huge resource base, as a matter of fact, which a healthcare professional can tap to market in a very positive way the role that the hospital is playing in providing and assuring quality healthcare. So it's as simple as that. What you thought was only an informal system of chatting with friends via WhatsApp or Instagram, for example, or posting photos of yourself or your friends over there can really be an extremely good opportunity, or it can provide a congenial space for reaching out to the public about the facilities that you are providing in your hospital. So it can be used as a marketing tool. Now, there are lots of other uses. Let us explore and see how we can utilize the social media to benefit the hospital. Yes, we are, as I said, living in an age of smartphones, of digital technology, and lots of net savvy users. If you travel on the bus, if you travel on the metro, you'll find people are glued in and listening to content on their smartphones. They are watching videos, they are scrolling through sites, and they are messaging away. So, one way in which you can provide easy access to the healthcare providers is by tapping the resources which are readily available on the internet. So the internet sites would provide quick and easy access to the healthcare providers like you, for example. So various websites, hospitals, sites, health product sites, caregivers, those who provide medical equipment, so they are all available. And there are various apps. You can readily download them from Google Play Store. So lots of apps for healthcare and health and fitness apps. These are available. You can access them readily. There can be lots of WhatsApp groups also, where often we can utilize that to have linkages between doctors and patients, for example. And actually, people tap into the internet nowadays whenever they want to do any kind of a search. So, if you want to talk about humans or anything, so would you ask someone or would you rather do a search on Google? So, key in a search on Google or look up Wikipedia to find out what you get from there. So, a lot of unguided research work is done on the internet nowadays. But You can make that into something more positive by giving them proper and authentic sources of information, by putting doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals at the other end so that they can guide the people about proper and correct health choices. Now, doctors are in fact quite readily accessible over social media because otherwise doctors are not very accessible, being very busy with their daily schedules, so they have hardly time for face-to-face interactions. Sometimes they are extremely difficult to access on the phone as well, but they are available for a limited space of time in social media. So this is a convenient way in which a leeway can be created between doctors and patients. So this is something preferable. So increasingly, patients are turning to social media sites for interactions or direct interventions with doctors. So there's a continual ongoing dialogue that is taking place between doctors and patients. So isn't this something extremely positive? Isn't this a positive use of the social media? There can be a lot of other uses. Let us see. Now, one way, as I have said, we can use the social media is for digital marketing. So, talk about your hospital and its facilities, the quality of healthcare and services that you provide, the infrastructure that you have, how many bedded hospital is it, what sort of trauma and emergency care you provide, whether you have round the clock ambulance with medical support and assistance, what sort of team, medical team of doctors, nurses, other paramedics you have, and other facilities. What sort of choices would people get if they opt for your hospital? So talk about this. Create videos and digital content and upload on Facebook. Create a Facebook account for your hospital. Create an Instagram account for your hospital. These are vital ways of reaching out to people in the digital age. Apart from this, apart from talking about facilities, you can also provide information on diseases and their treatment. So if you want to put a posting over there, so let's say you talk about an area, the ways in which it can happen and how to prevent it and what sort of preventive medication and care can be taken. Or for coronary heart disease, for example, the choices for heart transplants or for bypass surgery, what options do people have? So again, talking about these. People often wish to ask questions because they want to know more about the options, but they don't know whom to ask. So provide them the right information. Again, you can share success stories of patients who have visited your hospital, who have had surgery and who have recovered successfully, or maybe they were suffering from some disease and through treatment they have recovered now. So give the name or age or some other details and include personal narratives of these patients. So it's a great plus factor for your hospital if you include these success stories of patient recoveries. Then you can form web groups by forming WhatsApp groups of patients or other web groups and increase the interactions with patients and other people. Again, you can give events live, you can broadcast events, inauguration of your new trauma center in the hospital. So that's a live posting on Facebook or it is streaming live over there. Give interviews. Doctors and other medical specialists are conducting interviews live on a hot topic. All this is again very, very positive and creates a very good impact about your hospital and its services. And of course, include contact information in the form of telehelpline numbers, phone numbers, email, WhatsApp numbers, so that patients and consumers can just quickly dial in or send a message and get the ready response. Keep responses ready so that as soon as they send the WhatsApp, they are able to get a response. So the instantaneous response on your side will create a tremendously positive impact and send a positive signal to the consumers. So these are only some ways in which you can use the social networks in a positive way. Now, which are the social media channels that you can use? Of course, there are several. There is Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Google Plus, and others galore. So there are lots and lots and lots of channels. Now, what kind of use can you make of them? Let us see. Now, one of the important ways in which you can market or build a media presence of your hospital is by creating an account of Facebook. Now, Facebook, we know, is the one bright book of our life, and everybody who is anybody has got a Facebook account. Now, you can create a separate Facebook page for your hospital, or you can create a Facebook account and create separate pages over there for different departments of your hospital. But it should have an easy searchability and the largest number of hits. So you need to research this and see as soon as the name of your hospital is typed, the search database turns up your Facebook page. So create a Facebook account for your hospital. This is the first and most important thing. Maintain it with regular updates. People will not be impressed if your page is not updated. So please update it as regularly, as frequently as is possible. There should be a number of posts in a week. Post regular updates over there. Include all the photographs of your key facilities, like I have said, the trauma care center, the critical care units, the ambulance support that you provide, the OPD, the doctors, the medical support, and so on. There should be patient stories also on Facebook, and people will be able to comment on these stories. They can look and they can share. Also, interactions with patients can be fostered through Facebook. You can type in comments, people can type in comments and queries, and you can respond to them. So there should be a person who is dedicated, or there should be a team dedicated to answering these Facebook queries and to posting updates on Facebook. So you need to have a media team. So as a management professional, you will be in charge of the media presence of your hospital on Facebook. So you need really to highlight the stories about your hospital in the media. So try to highlight the stories about your hospital, keep that in mind, and post regular updates over there. Also, you can create Facebook groups with different medical support staff, other personnel, and even with patients. So again, this is something which is a constant engagement. Another thing that you can do on Facebook, which captures a lot of interest and attention from people, is to post live events. So various events that keep happening in a hospital, like different seminars, medical seminars, or discussions of breakthrough medical research and treatment, or webinars, live webinars, different kinds of symposiums, discussions by doctors and other medical personnel, or inauguration of new facilities. These are all of great interest and attention, and if you can post live updates on them and live videos, if you can broadcast or stream live on Facebook, There's really nothing like it. So you can make your Facebook page a very, very live and happening place in your hospital. And particularly the younger and more net savvy patients will be immensely attracted to your hospital if you can maintain this media presence. There is also Instagram, of course, and Instagram is like Facebook, and you will increase the number of your followers. So try to increase a broad database of patients and other people. So see who is following you, and that way you can increase the number of your patients or increase the number of the people who are going to turn to you as a quality healthcare provider. So both Facebook and Instagram can be of immense aid in building a media presence for your hospital. There is also LinkedIn and there is also Twitter. Now, there can be job search and connectivity or networking with other professional groups, doctors. You need doctors with varying specializations, cardiologists, pulmonologists, anesthesiologists, you just name it. So you can network with all these professional associations and groups of doctors with varying specializations, nursing staff with varying specializations. You can get hold of really talented and resourceful people by tapping into this resource pool on LinkedIn. And you can thereby establish linkages with lots of working professionals in your sector. And this can enable you to build positive relationships, sometimes get them available for professional consultations, and increase the resource base of your hospital. So interactions with these doctors and other professionals can boost your image of the hospital. As soon as people know that you are networked with so many other professional people in the relevant field in different sectors in medicine, so they will be tremendously impressed. So it carries a lot of weight. You can also establish networking with other management professionals like you in the medical sector. So that also enables you to increase your resource base. Now, Twitter also helps a lot in healthcare admin. Now, doctors often use their Twitter profiles to get in touch with their patients, to share health-related content, and even to answer questions. Now, all this helps in nurturing better and better relationships between doctors and patients in the future. So, Twitter can be a great help. Again, there is this question of ready accessibility, low cost, and ready usage. So both LinkedIn and Twitter are useful. LinkedIn as helping us to connect with professional groups, and Twitter in providing ready accessibility to professional people like doctors and also getting help from them. There's also Tumblr, there's also WhatsApp, of course. Now, Tumblr basically provides a variety of blogs. Now, what are these blogs? Blogs are basically a kind of personal diary or digital narrative written by people. Now, obviously, people write lots of blogs. Now, somebody can write a blog about cats that that person has kept, or about his pets or hobbies. Now, there are also blogs that people write about their medical history or about their medical conditions or their, let us say, their struggles with certain life-crippling diseases. Now, often there are many people who are silent sufferers from various diseases who don't know whom to turn to or whom to approach for medical care. Sometimes they are shy, sometimes they are scared, so they don't know what to do. Often there isn't also a lot of information available in the public domain about various diseases that people suffer from. So some people might be ashamed of suffering from certain diseases, or they may be scared and they don't know whom to ask for information. They don't want to go to their doctor. Or if they know that they suffer from it, but still they are scared to go out and talk about it with other people. Now, these people are very, very scared. They don't know what to do, and they lack any sources of support. Now, it is here that Tumblr and the blogs that are showcased on Tumblr provide a valuable assisting role by filling the gap of information. They provide a lot of online support and sustenance to patients. You see, when you are suffering from a disease and you are shy or scared of going to the doctor or talking about it, or you're suffering from it in silence, then you are tremendously thrilled, and I might say that you get a kind of emotional support if you read the accounts given by other sufferers, fellow sufferers from the disease. So this is what helps a lot, and many people have spoken about this, that Tumblr has played a very positive and reinforcing role in their lives. It has in fact turned the whole process of recovery around. So a lot of sustenance is provided to patients from reading the blogs by other patients. And they no longer need to suffer alone and in silence. They can even form an online community of patients. So for example, people suffering from schizophrenia. So there are communities of these people, or people suffering from autism. For example, there can be groups or communities of these people. So in this way, Tumblr has helped a lot. WhatsApp, of course, is something that we keep using all the time. It is a very, very convenient and readily accessible tool of private messaging. It's a kind of go-to messaging solution. Now, it is used a lot. For example, hospitals can provide healthcare tips and alerts. So it's just like broadcasting a media message. So you send forth a message or health tip, and your subscribers on WhatsApp groups will get that message. So you can send alerts, or you can provide healthcare tips or information at periodic intervals. Again, there can be more personalized interactions with doctors or management personnel about healthcare, or about diseases, or about treatment, or even about admission and support. Even appointment bookings can be done through WhatsApp, and diagnostic reports can also be shared as well as through WhatsApp, as email, and various other things. There can be WhatsApp groups of patients, of doctors and patients. So they are tremendously helpful in networking and interaction between doctors, patients, and the whole patient network or support base. Now, what are the opportunities provided by these social media platforms and the tools? Most importantly, they allow us to listen to the voice of the consumer, or to the voice of the patient. This is often unheard, and if your patient's voices are unheard or silenced, it is not good for your hospital. Because you see, your patients are your main support base, your mainstay. And if you cannot hear what they are saying, then you are not in a position to provide them with quality health care. You are not in a position to provide them with real benefits. So you must listen. Also, they provide valuable channels of information. Doctors can direct patients to reliable information sources. As I said, that there are lots and lots of sources for readily available information on the internet, but patients do not know to whom to turn. Doctors can direct them to the correct and authentic sources. Also, the reputation and public awareness and image of your hospital can be fostered through the social media channels and networks. Again, the social media networks are an important tool for quality improvement through the patient feedback. You see, through the feedback that you receive from your patients in the form of Instagram posts, replies to Instagram posts, replies to Facebook posts, and various WhatsApp messages and others, you can direct these messages and comments and suggestions to the right quarters, the admin, to the doctors, so that they can think of what ways or through what avenues the healthcare and support that is provided to patients can be improved. They are also useful for training nowadays because the new trainings, management trainings, are asked to give instantaneous feedback on the training sessions through their WhatsApp accounts or their Instagram accounts. So it's used for live feedback, instant feedback rather. Again, there are live updates from the operating rooms. So digital records, videos of operations and successful medical procedures, they are sometimes shared with the public. Also, very importantly, minute by minute information to the public can be provided during times of crisis. So there are lots of opportunities which are there for using the social media in a positive way in the healthcare sector, especially in the hospital. Now, there can be some problems in the usage as well. Of course, we have to keep in mind that the social media can be potentially harmful as well as being useful. There are, in fact, too many media channels, and there is too much information which is floating about there. In fact, the members of the public are more confused, or they tend to get more confused the more they search over there. There are lots of search engines, there are lots of apps as well, so they are inundated, simply flooded with information about diseases and treatment options and healthcare facilities, but they are confused. They tend to get confused by the information. Also, sometimes there are healthcare providers, now this is very unfortunate, they can also misguide simply from profit motives regarding the health choices which people are going to opt for. They can misdirect them to incorrect or wrong sources. And there can be a lot of unscrupulous medical marketing, trying to sell medical products to people when they really do not need them. This is the reverse side of the usefulness of the social media. And they can be phishing or fake sites, falsification of data. So the usual problems which are there with the internet and are also there with social media and its usage in healthcare. But we are talking about the positive usage as far as is practical. Now, certain points to remember are, in fact, to look forward to the future. So let us think about things in a positive light and how we can make a positive use of the social media presence. So the social media that is used needs to reach the right target audience with the timely information. So we have to tap into the appropriate people at the right time, reach out with the right information, the right set of people at the right time. Also, the information that is shared should be precise and easy to understand. So if I'm talking about my hospital and the services that I provide, so I have to talk in simple language, which a layman will be able to readily understand. I will not use too many specialized terms or medical terms which will be confusing or which will be difficult for an ordinary person to understand. Again, the social media needs to focus on the preventive care as far as diseases are concerned, on patient engagement and satisfaction as far as is possible, together with groups related to various diseases. And people need to be educated to distinguish between trustworthy and misleading sources of information. So, as I have said, that there are lots and lots of options for information on the social media sites. Now, people have to be trained on how to use them properly so that they can use the appropriate sources, but not any source which is likely to fall into their use. So, if you talk about your hospital, talk about it in a way that your patients and other people, the public outside, will understand, and give them authentic and appropriate sources of information. Ultimately, building a media presence for your hospital is very, very important, and the management personnel need to be educated and trained in the new technology. After all, if they are going to use Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, so they need to be able to use the technology properly. They need to be able to use it from smartphones, from laptops, from iPads, and other systems. Again, they need to be trained in the creation of good media posts and updates. Again, the medical ethics, the fundamental points of medical ethics and social responsibility need to be inculcated in them so that they do not make any unscrupulous use of these social media networks for their own benefit or for anybody else's benefit. Whatever they are doing is for the benefit of the organization, the hospital, and for the people in general, not for any particular person or individual. Again, maintaining a very good database of people's web addresses or the virtual addresses, their Instagram accounts, their WhatsApp numbers, their Facebook accounts. This is something that all management personnel in the hospital need to actively maintain, reinforce, and update. So, what are your patients' WhatsApp numbers and other details? You need to keep them updated and ready so that you can reach out to them at any point of time. Again, you need to establish a good linkage between doctors and other medical personnel to open up to customers, to patients, talk about medical problems, and in order to market the facilities and the opportunities provided by your hospital, you need to continually widen the digital platforms that you are using in social media and constantly talk about your organization in a way that will positively reinforce and create a relationship of trust between your organization and the people. So these are a few points relating to the positive ways in which we can use the social media in running and promoting the resources of a large hospital or medical facility. This brings us to the end of the lecture.